Hello everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel Third Eye Media. Let's begin with today's current affairs session. The first topic of the day is foreign state actors stashed illicit funds in Paytm bank accounts. What is it? Just small information about it. So 15.49 crore fine imposed on Paytm Payments Bank Limited PPBL by the Financial Intelligence Unit last week. So what do you mean stashed is? Stashed is nothing but store safely in a hidden or secret place. So nothing but Paytm Bank has been fined with 15.49 crore. So there are many purposes for it. So second news, Indian troops out, Maldives inks defense pact with China. So we all know that previously Maldives was a part of Indian friend. Maldives was a friend of India, but recently a new government has been emerged in the Maldives, which is actually going towards the friendship for China, means they are getting close to China. So here is a recent agreement which has been made. The agreement says that Beijing is something part of China, will provide free military assistance to Maldives to foster ties between the two nations. They are going to provide free military assistance as well as Muzu says, Muzu is nothing but president, he is the president now, President Mohammad Muzu says no Indian troops to remain on island in uniform or in civil clothes. President Mohammad Muzu wanted removed. So, he wants our Indian troops to withdraw from that particular island now. The Maldivian Defense Ministry announced signing a military pact with China. Maldives Minister of Defense Mohammad Ghassan Maumoon and Major General Zhang Bokun, Deputy Director at China's Office for International Military Cooperation on Monday, signed an agreement on China's provision of military assistance gratis to the Republic of Maldives, fostering stronger bilateral ties. This is all about the agreement. So, even China has donated 12 green ambulances to the Maldives Health Ministry on Monday. So, what does it mean? Two countries are agreeing to elevate China-Maldives relations to a comprehensive strategic cooperative partnership. It is actually a bad news for India now. Even External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has given a counter to this thing by saying that we are the country which has donated 4.5 billion Indian assistance to Sri Lanka during its crisis in 2022. So, it is actually a counter to Maldives. According to the Maldivian Tourism Ministry's latest figures, China accounts for 12.8% of the total number of visitors. That is nothing but 4,31,002 as of March 3, recorded in 2024, while India accounts for only 6.4%. So, our people have become less when compared to China. This is because of that boycott Maldives campaign which happened in Instagram. Next, third current affairs. Bengal officials have been warned to curb poll violence CEC. We all know that Lok Sabha elections are going to come ahead. So, for this particular thing, we need to understand what is about, just a glance about CEC, that is nothing but Chief Election Commissioner. Present Chief Election Commissioner is Rajiv Kumar. Okay. The Election Commission of India is an autonomous constitutional authority. It is a constitutional body clearly mentioned in the constitution, responsible for administrating union and state election process in India. Finish. Next, the body administers elections to the Lok Sabha. Clearly see, it will administer elections to Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, state legislative assemblies, offices of president and vice president. Municipalities and panchayats doesn't come under ambit of Election Commission of India. Okay, CEC will only look over these 5 elections. Next, Article 324 of the Constitution of India mentions the provisions to safeguard and ensure the independent and impartial functioning of Election Commission. So, what are the important things here? Article 324 and the 5 regions where this CEC is actually performing the elections or conducting the elections for. Next, Article 324 of the Constitution has made the following provisions with regard to composition of the Election Commission. What is that? First thing is, President will appoint the Chief Election Commissioner and other election commissioners, and the retirement or pension, salary, everything is similar to that of the Supreme Court judge. When any other EC is so appointed, the CEC acts as the Election Commission's chairman. The President can also appoint regional commissioners to assist the Commission if necessary for consulting with the Election Commission. The tenure of office and the conditions of service of all the commissioners shall be determined by the country's president. That's all about your. So, we are basically understanding the ECI thing here. Means what is this Election Commission of India and what are the articles provided by, what are the safeguards and provisions provided to it under the Constitution. Next one is Google reinstates Indian apps in spirit of cooperation. In yesterday's current affairs session, we said that Google has removed some of the Indian apps from the Play Store as they are not able to pay the platform fees on time. So for that they have appealed to CCI, that is the Competition Commission of India, right? So now Google has came up with a good gesture that in the spirit of cooperation, we are temporarily reinstating the apps of the developers with appeals pending in the Supreme Court's. Google spokesperson said, referring to apps by developers like Bharat Matrimony and Kuku FM. Means they have again reinstalled the apps in the Play Store. Now, the tech firm currently collects, so clearly see that the tech firm currently collects 11% to 30% per transaction platform fees. So 11% to 30% will be collected as a platform fees. The tech firm collects 7 to 30% per transaction platform fees, which an emerging class of apps eager to charge for their services in India, such as in the dating, matrimonial or OTT streaming space are trying to avoid. So last point, very important, Electronics and IT Minister. Who is Electronics and IT Minister? Ashwini Vaishnaw. Remember this point, that's it. Next one is 6 disqualified Himachal MLAs, Member of Legislative Assemblies, move Supreme Court for relief. So basically you need to understand that what are the grounds on which basically MLA can be disqualified, okay, and how are they elected. So disqualified Himachal MLAs move Supreme Court for relief 6 Congress MLAs who were disqualified after they cross-voted in the recent Rajya Sabha polls. Election process of Rajya Sabha. So how is actually happening in Rajya Sabha? First of all, I will understand how is the election process happening in Rajya Sabha. We will learn one by one. So Rajya Sabha members are elected directly by the people, that is by the MLAs itself. The MLAs are electing your Rajya Sabha members. We can also call it as Council of States. So members of a state legislative assembly vote in the Rajya Sabha elections in proportional representation with single transferable vote system. Whenever you see a particular thing, whenever you see a bit or a competitive thing in your competitive exams, a bit or in competitive exams, remember these two words, proportional representation and single transferable vote when it comes to Rajya Sabha. These are very important things. Each MLA's vote is counted only once. Next, to win a Rajya Sabha seat, a candidate should get a required number of votes. That number is found out using the below formula. They are going to use this formula, that is required vote equal to total number of votes by number of Rajya Sabha seats plus 1 whole plus 1. If they are based upon this formula, they are going to calculate the required number of votes. Next, done with Rajya Sabha. Next, another point is, it's also international relation news. What is happening is, Philippine and Chinese vessels collide in disputed South China Sea. This South China Sea is a very disputed one. We will discuss it at the end of the slide. 4 Filipino crew members were injured and Manila's vessel suffered minor structural damage in separate incidents. US, Australia and Japan condemn Beijing's actions, which transpired ahead of an Asian summit taking place in Melbourne. So, before going into the news, I am going to ask you some questions, a small assignment to you. Just check which is the platform or which is the grouping in which US, Australia, Japan and India are included. And I also check whether India is a part of ASEAN or not. ASEAN, there is something called Association of Southeast Asian Nations. Next, let's continue with the news. Chinese and Philippine Coast Guard vessels collided in the disputed South China Sea and 4 Filipino crew members were injured on Tuesday in high seas confrontations as Southeast Asian leaders gathered for an Asian summit where alarm over Beijing's aggression at sea was expected to be raised. So basically, all the leaders are worried about Beijing's aggression in the South China Sea itself. The shoal is a place has been the site of several intense skirmishes between Chinese and Philippine Coast Guard ships last year. Next, Meta. So yesterday, it was all about yesterday's news. So yesterday what happened? Meta suffers global outage of Facebook, Instagram and Threads. Even when I was using Instagram yesterday, I found that suddenly my account was logged out in the Instagram. So this was all about a small thread happened, a small error came in this Meta. What happened is, Meta suffered a highly unusual outage of its social media platforms on Tuesday with users of Facebook, Instagram, Threads logged out of their accounts at about 12 time East Coast time, 20:30 IST Indian Standard Time. 20:30 is nothing but around 10:30. Okay. Yes, exactly 10:30. The sites remained to be returning to normal about 2 hours after the outage reports first emerged. That's it. Next, Ukraine says it destroyed another Russian warship in the Black Sea. Whenever there is a news in this particular thing, we all know that Russian and Ukraine issue. So you need to understand what are the countries which are surrounded by Black Sea Okay, what are the countries which are actually bordering with Black Sea, and where is Ukraine are located, and where does Russia is located. First, just have understanding about the news. Ukraine said on Tuesday its forces had destroyed a Russian military patrol ship in the Black Sea near annexed Crimea. Crimea is also a place. We need to see the location. The latest naval attack on Moscow's fleet in the key waterway. Kyiv also said it was behind a drone strike on an oil depot in the Russian border region. Ukraine said it destroyed the Russian patrol ship Sergei Kotov. So just have a look over this particular map. So what is it? Towards the north of Black Sea, we can see that Crimea is located here. Above Crimea, we can see that here we are located with Ukraine, and right side, that's nothing but your northeastern side of Black Sea, we are having Russia. Okay, and in the eastern side, you can see that we are having Romania, Bulgaria, and to the south of Black Sea, we can find Turkey. So just remember, have an idea about this map. It will be very helpful whenever it is asked in any competitive exam. So next is another international news. Hamas committed rapes during its October 7 attacks in Israel. We also know that Israel, Gaza and Hamas, okay, Israel-Hamas attacks. What is happening there? So there are reasonable grounds to believe rapes were committed during Hamas October 7 attacks on Israel, and that hostages subsequently taken to Gaza have also been raped. A United Nations report said UN Special Representative on Sexual Violence and Conflict, Parmila Patton, said she had convincing information on the matter. So they said that rapes were committed. So don't get into that rapes matter. Just have a check about it. So where is actually Israel located? So near Mediterranean Sea. Okay. So above Israel, we find that there is Lebanon. Okay. North of Israel, we find Lebanon, and Israel to the left. That's nothing but to the west, to the east of Israel, we find Egypt. And this red color part is nothing but a Gaza Strip, which is actually the one which is in dispute. Okay, these are the things Hamas is attacking from here. And to the east, we find Jordan, Saudi Arabia as well as Syria. So it is having borders with those things. And we can also see that there is Jerusalem and Ramallah on the West Bank. So clear? Have idea of this map, it will be very helpful. Next, Iran executed at least 834 people last year, the highest since 2015. Iran executed at least 834 people last year, the highest number since 2015, as capital punishment in the Islamic Republic surged to a staggering level. The number of executions was up some 43% on 2022. Norway-based Iran Human Rights and Paris-based Together Against the Death Penalty said on Tuesday. So they are actually against these executions, these two particular bodies. Just have a look. So here is Iran. So it is actually surrounded by Caspian Sea in the north, and Iran is also having Persian Gulf near, and to its east, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan are bordered, and to the east. So now to the left side, it is having Iraq, Turkey and Saudi Arabia respectively. Please have idea of this map, very important. Whenever there is a country, rather than understanding these things, go to the map and identify where they are actually located. Now next one is it's related to economy. Just understand the thing. So Feb services sector growth slows. So basically we need to understand what is this purchasing managers index. It's an assignment for you, so please go through it. Purchasing managers index signals fractional job creation that was weakest in 21 months. Services PMI contradicts the signals put out by the HSIC India Flash PM for last month, which is based on early responses from surveyed firms. PMI print for services eased to 60.6 in February from 61.8 in January. A reading of over 50 on the index indicates growth in activity levels. The index ascertains business confidence levels on the basis of firms' outlook for the year ahead. Around 26% of companies foresee growth and 2% anticipate a fall. So around 26% are about to grow according to this PMI, and 2% are going to be actually fall as of February points. The rate of expansion were broadly similar at manufacturers and service firms, though the former registered an acceleration and the latter a slowdown, HSBC explained. So just a figure that's it. Next, RBI bars JMFPL from loans on IPO shares. The Reserve Bank of India has directed regulated entity JM Financial Products Limited. So in this particular article, we need to understand what are these debentures first of all. What is debentures and initial public offerings? Debentures are nothing but unsecured debt instruments issued by companies to raise funds. So, whenever they require funds, they are going to issue such type of debt instruments. They represent a form of long-term borrowing where the issuer agrees to pay periodic interest and return the principal amount at maturity. Next, IPO. What is IPO? Initial public offerings. It is an initial public offering in which shares of a private company are made available to the public for the first time. An IPO allows a company to raise equity capital from public investors. Both are instruments whenever a company wants amount. Whenever a company is lacking capital, then it will definitely go for such type of bonds or instruments. Next, basic information about sugar, Indian sugar. India's sugar crop was create opportunity for Dubai's Al Khaleej unit. So, what happened is India stopped exporting because of bad weather, and this had created more demand, at least temporarily. The International Sugar Organization last month forecasted that Indian sugar output would fall to 31.7 million tons in 2023 to 24. Next, very important. Now let's dive into regional news. What happened is here, Modi visits Mahankali temple in the Secunderabad. He was present in Hyderabad in Telangana since the last 2 days. So he has returned back on Tuesday. So what happened is Prime Minister spends a few minutes at the temple along with his retinue. Police cordon off locality and BJP workers not allowed beyond temple's entrance arc on James Street. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited Ujjaini Mahankali temple in Secunderabad on Tuesday as part of this 2-day tour of Telangana. Very important for Group 2, Group 3 and Group 1 because it is related to Telangana and the temple has some special importance. The Ujjaini Mahankali temple is a relic of the time when pandemics were the order of the day. In 1813, there was an outbreak of cholera in Ujjain and hundreds of people died. Please find where is this Ujjain actually located and it is related to which period. Suriti Appaiah, soldier serving in the army of British East India Company, took refuge in Ujjain Mahankali temple and made a vow that he would consecrate an idol of goddess in Secunderabad if the epidemic subsided. On his return to his hometown, he fulfilled his vow and installed a wooden idol in July 1815 inside a small mud wall temple. About 60 years ago, the wooden idol was replaced with a stone one. Okay. Every year during Bonal Jatra in the month of Ashad, that is something about your Ashadam, the family members of Suriti Appaiah welcomes a lakh of devotees on the third Sunday of the month for a festival. This is all about, this is the story behind Ujjaini Mahankali temple in Secunderabad. Next, what is a whip? Whip is basically related to Lok Sabha. A whip is a directive from Lok Sabha as well as State Legislative Assembly. Whip is a directive from political party that binds the members of that political party in a house to obey the line of the party. In India, the concept is a remnant of British colonial rule, means it has adopted from British colonial rule. So Britishers have gave this particular practice. Most parties appoint a whip whose job is to ensure discipline among the party members at the floor of the house. Discipline includes their attendance also. Even if a particular person, particular MLA or MP is not present in the is not coming, you should be able to have that information that why particular person is not attending that particular session. Next, PM launches works worth 7,000 crore on second day of Telangana tour. What are they? The newly Prime Minister Modi actually praised the newly inaugurated 350 crore Civil Aviation Research Organization in Begumpet. He said that it is one of its kind in the country built with modern technology. Apart from that, he also launched Kandi Ramsanpalle, Miryalguda to Kodad, Sangareddy to Madinaguda national highways will create an economic corridor between Indore and Hyderabad. These new national highway stretches will reduce carbon emissions and time travel significantly. Apart from that, the doubling and electrification of 22 km Sanat Nagar to Maulali railway line is expected to ease the suburban train passengers between Hyderabad and Secunderabad. Apart from that, he has also green flagged the Gatkesar Lingampalli new MMTS service, and not but least the 1,212 km 3,300 crore Indian oil pipeline project. And even our CM, that is something about Revanth, submit some wish list. Revanth Reddy sir has submitted some wish list to Modi. He wanted the central government's cooperation in speedy execution of works on the balance 2,400 megawatt of the National Thermal Power Corporation power plant. He also wanted to extend its cooperation in the expansion of Hyderabad Metro Rail and Moosi Riverfront Development Project. The Union Home Minister sanctioned 76 IPS cadre posts to Telangana in 2016, but the requirement of officers has increased in the view of the population growth. So, the centre should immediately take steps to sanction at least 29 IPS cadre posts to the state. These are actually the wish list which Revanth Reddy has presented to the Modi, our Prime Minister. The Chief Minister also reiterated that the state's request for the sanction of Indian Institute of Management to Hyderabad. He is asking for an IMM to Hyderabad. Seeking release of central share of 347.54 crore under National Health Mission. Mr. Revanth Reddy wanted works on 8 projects taken up in Telangana under Bharat Mala project. Please go and refer what is this Bharat Mala project. So, he said that under Bharat Mala project to be completed expeditiously. And he also requested to extend its cooperation in setting up semiconductor manufacturing units in Telangana. Please go through it once. Next one is panel hopeful 50% pending Dharani applications will be cleared in special drive. No need to understand 50%, all those stuff. We need to understand what is this Dharani application first of all and what is this Dharani portal all about. Dharani portal. Dharani is an integrated land records management system introduced by the Revenue Department of Telangana. This online portal combines land registration and administration services, acting as a single source for land parcels and discharge land related functions in an effective and efficient manner. That's it. Next, it's also newsletter Hyderabad. People lost 2,157 crore to cyber criminals in February. So, what is the news about? Citizens of Telangana lost 157 crore to cyber criminals in February 2024. A total of 9,661 cybercrime cases were reported to the Telangana State Cyber Security Bureau TSCSB, of which 8,088 were financial frauds. So, be very careful with respect to this type of frauds, financial things. The increase in reporting of such cyber crimes can be attributed to the streamlining of the, so they have given a helpline number 1930 helpline which began in January 2024. So, if you have any such things, you can report to this particular helpline number. So, now some of the facts or some of the acts which we need to understand. So, Prevention of Money Laundering Act. So, Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2022, it was enacted in 2022. It's an act of Parliament of India enacted by the India government, National Democratic Alliance government, to prevent money laundering and to provide for confiscation of property derived from money laundering. PMLA and the rules notified there under came into force with effect from July 1, 2005. It came into effect from July 1, 2005. Next, Telangana State Gaming Act. It's very important. Telangana State, don't get confused with Telangana Gambling Act and Telangana State Gaming Act. Okay, an act to consolidate and amend the law relating to the punishment of gaming and the keeping of common gaming houses in the state of Telangana. The Telangana Gaming Act 2017 amended the Telangana Gaming Act 1974, incorporating the changes introduced by the above mentioned ordinances. So, just go and Google once what is an ordinance, because it's a very important topic with respect to polity, with the object of implementing the policy of zero tolerance against gambling, which has serious impact on the financial status and well-being of the common. So, now important organizations, we are going to learn about some 3 organizations. So, I am not going to tell you each and everything, some things you need to Google and you need to learn on yourself. So, I am going to just give a gist of this particular topics. So, ASEAN stands for Association of Southeast Asian Nations. So, it is headquartered in Jakarta, which is in Indonesia, and the number of members are 10 countries. Just find out how many countries, what are those countries which are involved in, which are actually part of this ASEAN. Next, established year 1967, and India is not a part of this particular ASEAN. United Nations, it is actually headquartered in New York City, that is something in the United States. Number of members are 193 member states, and it was established in the year 1945, and India is a part of it. India is a part of United Nations. Next, NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, it is headquartered in Brussels, Belgium, and number of members are 31 member states. Okay, established year 1949, and yes, India is not a part of it. India is not a part of NATO. So, it is only a part of United Nations, ASEAN and NATO, it is not a part of it. Next, some vocabulary, just go through this. Stashed, synonyms: stored, accumulated, collected, acquired, preserved. Antonyms: discarded, dumped, unloaded, consumed and wasted. Just remember a few things so that it will be helpful in your competitive exams whenever you are going for AFCAT or some other group 2 or group 1 exams. Fervent, passionate, warm, intense, emotional, burning. Cold, antonyms: cold, dispassionate, dry, impassive, detached. Dubious, synonyms are questionable, suspicious, debatable, problematic, shady. Antonyms: certain, sure, indisputable, undoubted, incontestable. Next synonyms for abstain: refuse, reject, turn, down, hesitate, temporize. Antonyms: choose, determine, decide, resolve, conclude. Last one is coercion. Synonyms are pressure, constraint, compulsion, violence, force. When it comes to antonyms: consent, agreement, approval, permission, reason. So we will try to learn daily 5 words of which synonyms and antonyms, so it will be definitely helpful for your further coming competitive examinations. So I have said that, right. So this is all about the South China Sea claims and issues. So we can clearly see that some of the island countries like Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, Philippines, Taiwan. So this red color clearly indicates that China is trying to have its expansionist policy on all these islands. See, what are those islands? Paracel Islands, Scarborough Shoal, and Spratly Islands. So these nations are actually claiming their territorial integrity over these islands, but China is trying to grab these islands as part of its expansionist policy. That's all for the day. I hope you liked the video, you enjoyed. Please continuously follow our videos. It will be very helpful, so that it will be helpful for you to remember all the current affairs which are required for the competitive point of view. So that's all for the day. Hope you like the video. Keep watching and don't forget to like, share and subscribe our channels. I will be back with another current affairs sessions tomorrow. So whatever things I have asked you to refer, please refer those things. Thank you.